Hey guys, it's Oluvids, and today I'm going to talk about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. And if you're wondering how I even have anything to talk about with this drought of news, well, it's because I actually never made any videos about the beta that came out a while back. Anyway, you saw the title. I'm going to be focusing on my first impressions on the characters we were introduced to, and then after that I'll go over the meanings of their names, because as you know, Kingdom Hearts characters have certain names that mean certain things. Just to get them out of the way, your main character obviously doesn't have a preset name, but like in Union Cross, they are actually able to speak. They lost their memories, but it's implied that they're the reincarnation of your original character from the Key games. I'd say they're a character that's mostly quiet, but mainly for now they're just trying to piece together their memories. So they'll often be looking around and staring at things like the Ephemer statue. They seem to be prone to fixating on random small things too, like pointing out rust on someone's shoulder in the middle of a conversation. They also, I suppose, want a place to belong to, which we can see at the end of this beta story. The keyblade that the main character starts off with is actually Starlight. Now, if you haven't played Union Cross before, this is actually a max level Starlight, so it gets more upgrades as you go. Instead of looking like how it does in KH3, now it has all this extra stuff on it, but also it's rusted, so I don't know if this keyblade actually has very much power, but it seems like it is still usable. Next, we have the second character we see, which is Remus. This red-haired Baroque Society officer is a bit of a salvager. He likes to collect random junk from distortions, which could be things like bicycles or other trinkets. While he was sent to investigate the area for a distortion, the trinket collecting seems to be for his own enjoyment. He also generally seems pretty laid back. Like, he might complain about having to drag you around, but he'll still do it. I do like that he clearly does have things he'd rather be doing than babysitting you, but you can tell he's a decent guy at least. There are some rare occasions where he'll have an outburst, but it's only if something really surprises him, and that just completely flips the laid-back appearance on its head. Now, Remus has a keyblade that's new. I checked through the other keyblades from the other games just to make sure this wasn't something that was being reused from like Days or something, but no, this is a fully new keyblade, and it actually has a fire property to it, so this is helping people theorize that maybe he's related to Axel, because Axel's really the only fire property guy we have in Kingdom Hearts, and his keyblades are usually fire-themed. We don't know anyone else's keyblades if they have other elemental properties, but we know he so far has fire. Next, we have Nept, and he's probably my favorite character from this so far. Honestly, if I had to compare him to someone, this guy's like if Gojo was in Kingdom Hearts. Now, I don't know if he's proportionally as strong as he is in relation to everyone else, but he has that lazy yet really observant and knowledgeable aspect to him that makes it so, like, on the surface he seems completely useless, but he'll be able to get you out of any bind you're in. He was able to sense both the mind control feathers and those two rogue agents pretty quickly, when not even your character or Remus noticed that something was up. There may be some genuine laziness in there, because as the leader of the Baroque Society, he'll wander off without even finishing any of the paperwork he was supposed to sign. Anyway, his observation does transfer to more casual use as well. He'll really appreciate the little things in life, like how he was noting how beautiful the night sky looked. He has a tendency to pick up strays, so he ended up recruiting you into his society the minute you showed up. It's possible that Remus and another person I'll mention was in that situation where they had no place to go and were brought in by Nept. Anyway, this is probably a character trope that you've seen before, but it's never popped up in Kingdom Hearts, so I'm really curious now this dynamic will be with everyone. For Nept, we don't ever see his keyblade, and same thing for another character that I'll talk about named Freya. She's like Nept's secretary, and she gives him both insults and praises at the same time, which is pretty funny. I can't fully get a read on who she is outside of her work, but I can see her and Nept having some funny scenes as the game goes on. She also complains about Nept bringing in more strays just like Remus, so I think that's a nice detail to have. Mainly because in Kingdom Hearts these days, it does seem like all of the main cast has lost any kind of edge they used to have, even if it was light to begin with. This, of course, isn't anything crazy, but you know, I don't need them to be actually antagonistic, but I think that it makes the conversation between the characters more entertaining. Now, on to the names of the characters. We got Nept, Freya, and Remus. Nept seems to be derived from Neptune, which is the god of water in Roman mythology. I mean, his hair is blue, so maybe he has water magic? I mean, really, people are speculating that he's actually related to Aqua, which is also a name that has to do with water. It is very possible that this is true, because as I said in my other video, Aqua actually has a pretty unknown origin, but we don't have a lot to go off of right now. Then we got Freya, which means noble lady, or it could also be in reference to the Norse goddess of love. I mean, Freya seems to be a good and caring person, but I don't know if I'd go as far as saying goddess of love levels of stuff, but she could end up being a really supportive figure for you as things start to get tough in Scarlet Kylum. Speaking of things getting tough, Remus is the most interesting in terms of name origin. His name actually comes from Roman mythology, and it's about the story of Remus and Romulus. These two were twin brothers born of royalty in the kingdom of Alba. However, the king wanted to get rid of them because he saw them as a threat to his rule, so he had them sent up the river. But luckily, they were saved by the river god Tibernius. and were raised in secret by a shepherd named Faustulus. Eventually they grew up and they became natural leaders and got a lot of support from the people of the kingdom without even knowing they were royalty. This led to Remus getting captured by the king, who was suspected that he was one of the twins that he tried to have killed all those years ago. Long story short, this led to his brother Romulus gathering people to band together to break him out of captivity, and they were able to kill the king, and he was replaced by Remus and Romulus's grandfather, who aided them in their efforts. Unfortunately, this tale does end on a bad note, where Remus was killed after he criticized the new city that Romulus founded, which was Rome. Now, whether he was killed by Romulus or one of his supporters is unknown, but man, imagine if something like this inspired a story in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, it probably won't play out exactly like this, but our red-haired guy over here, Remus, might secretly be royalty. So secret that not even he knows. From the looks of it at least, the Baroque society is pretty run down and doesn't have a lot of prestige, so he's not actively living the rich life here. We also know that something big is supposed to happen here in Scala in this missing link between Union Cross and Dark Road. There's eventually either going to be a new remodeling or a new Scala that will be founded that's different from this one. And there's going to be way less keyblade wielders too. Honestly, what I'm hoping for is that this whole society starts to fall apart because of some sort of conspiracy or corruption going on with the leaders of this world. I mean, while this was founded with good intention by Ephemer, who's to say that all his values are still being followed? This would be good too, because I mean, we've seen worlds fall because of darkness and heartless and all that, but seeing a world fall because of the conflicts between people would be very interesting. It's possible that our character could be part of an uprising or something. I mean, that'd be pretty crazy. And I think that in that chaos, we might see why Xehanort's mom had to give him away to be hidden. I mean, for all I know, Remus and Xehanort could be brothers. Really, anything could happen here. And that's what is a bit exciting about Missing Link. One last thing I want to add about the characters is their designs, because while they do all wear the same uniform, they actually personalize it in their own unique ways. Like for example, Remus has his headband and he has one of his buckles unstrapped with a black shirt under that. Nept has his dress shirt and tie because he's a higher up official, so he has to look completely neat and clean and professional. And then we have Freya, who has a belt choker, because of course it has to be a belt choker. Anyway, a belt choker as well as 2 bows in her hair. So while they all have the same uniform, it's not like Organization 13 where it's the only difference is like their body types. They actually have little differences in the uniforms, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, your main character is customizable, so they can wear whatever you want, but with their default uniform, they do have a hat, so that's something. Overall, the Baroque Society seems pretty cool so far. I don't know if there's any more than these, but these 3 are the characters that we were introduced to, plus your main character. And yeah, you know, I mean, they seem like a tight-knit group. They kind of remind me of certain guilds in some anime like Fairy Tail or the Black Bulls from Black Clover. They definitely lean more on the Black Clover side because of how their guild kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm really curious to see them and more of the other societies as we go on. But they seem like a pretty nice group so far. Anyway, that's all I got for today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.